Good afternoon, mighty mums. I thought I'd come live today with a daily revelation I've been thinking about a lot, and it's daily revelation number 110, and it is your story ultimately controlling you? And what is the story? Our story is something that you believe in your head that is stopping you from where you ultimately want to be. Okay, we all have dreams, we all have goals, desires that we want to fulfill in life, but the stories is what stops us from ultimately getting there. Now, for example, we have stories in all areas of our life, okay? Not just health and fitness, could be relationships, could be finances, and that's probably the biggest one I see is with money. And a lot of people think, look, I'm not earning enough money, I'm not, I can't afford to pay the bills. And if you dig a little deeper, you want to ask yourself, what is the story that's holding me back from ultimately being where I want to be financially? And a lot of it comes from our upbringing, so for example, if your childhood was, say your parents grew up in the Great Depression and they were like, turn off the lights or, don't flush the toilet more than once. And now you grow up with this story and you bring that into your livelihood, and that is, I don't have enough money and I never will have enough money. And even when I see this is when a lot of people have a lot of money and they have this story, well, I wasn't supposed to have a lot of money, and they lose it, they spend it because the belief or the story they're thinking is, I'm not worthy of this money, or this was my upbringing. And you could have on the other end of the scale and say, you grew up with parents that were really generous with their money, and you go into your life now spending all this money and not necessarily having that finances to actually back up the amount of what you're spending. So the typical thing, hey Steph, the typical thing I see is with money, is with people thinking, I got to save this, I got to do this. And it's more than just what they're doing, it's the why behind their behavior, the story that they've grown up with in their life about money. So that's just a typical example, but this can relate to your health and fitness. If you look back at your journey and look where you are right now, look at your age and see where you are in terms of your health and fitness. If the story does not get changed, or the belief about your health and fitness and you ultimately getting to where you want to be, then you're going to end up in this cycle. You end up in this cycle of joining programs, doing a diet, whatever it is, when you feel motivated. But all of a sudden, when you get successful, your story, your belief about yourself will bring you back down. And you might have heard the term self-sabotage. This is everything to do with that person's story. I'm not good enough. I was never supposed to be skinny. I'm big boned. I can't do cardio. It can go on and on. But that story starts to form a belief when you actually believe that story. When you believe, yes, I wasn't worthy of this. I was always told as a child that I was not good enough. And health and fitness is totally about your psychology, because there's so many nutrition and training programs, but why is there more depression, anxiety, more obese, overweight people than ever before? It's because it's not about the information, but it's actually about the implementation, and what causes the implementation is your beliefs or your stories. So that's something I'm going to work on this Wednesday, is talking about your stories and how to break those stories, how to break those habits that you're sick and tired of being motivated, unmotivated, motivated, unmotivated, and how to break those stories and actually question yourself about it. Because ultimately, where your focus goes, where your energy is going to flow, okay? And you can relate this tip to every area of your life. Like I said, in money, health and fitness, relationships, career, whatever it is, the stories are ultimately what's going to hold you back. And there's a reason that a lot of people are not successful, a lot of people are not where they ultimately want to be, is because they believe these stories. But first and foremost, they don't know how to break those stories. So please come on Wednesday night. I'm going to be talking about this. I'm going to be talking about how to break these stories. And you feel like you're constantly on this hamster wheel. And it's 5 years down the track, it's 10 years. And when you ultimately look back at your health and fitness journey, you're in the same position. You're in the same position, if not worse, but you have now a story that you believe because it came true. Because you constantly believe that I wasn't good enough, I wasn't supposed to lose weight, I'm big boned, I can't exercise, I'm not a morning person, whatever it is, you believe these stories, and naturally your brain will look for evidence to support these beliefs. But on the other end of things, we can cement these self-limiting beliefs with some really powerful beliefs that are going to empower you, encourage you, and ultimately get you to where you want to be. So this is what the health and fitness industry is not telling you. They're not telling you that you actually need to have strong beliefs, that you actually need to break those stories that you're going through. It's not just about eat well, move more. It's about ultimately changing your mindset, reprogramming your identity to get you to where you want to be in terms of your health and fitness, but in all areas of your life. I don't just want this program to be a health and fitness program. I want it to inspire all areas of your life. I want you to have more money than ever before. I want you to have the best body that you're after. I want you to be joyful. I want you to have the best relationships, because it's a holistic program. Because ultimately, if your values are not being fulfilled, and yeah, you say you hit your health and fitness goal, but relationships are bad, finances are bad, ultimately these areas are going to be affected. So when I know health and fitness is one of those areas, and I know that it can impact all these other areas really, really effectively. So thank you for watching, Steph. Thank you for coming on board, and I will talk to you ladies later on.